Hey crafty friends, it's Diane with Bean Street Paper, and it's time for another 10-minute Tuesday. Today we are going to make this fun birthday card. Again, you can tailor it to any occasion. But what I wanted to concentrate on was using up some of my stash of papers that I'm savoring. I don't like to really call it hoarding, but savoring. I love K & Company. Unfortunately, they're no longer in business, but I have several pads of paper that I have just been hoarding for years because I don't want to use them because I know I can't get any more and the company's out of business. So today I said, you know what? You got to use them up because you got to make room for new stuff. So this pink paper is the one that I chose to use. And again, I still have some left, but I did make the first cut, so I'm super excited about that. I did manage to use a third of a sheet of paper. But this is the card we're gonna make. It's super easy and super quick. So without further ado, you're gonna need a card base. Again, A2 as always. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I used it landscape orientation this time. So instead of portrait, you could do either, whatever you choose. What I did was I took another piece of white cardstock that's cut 1/4 inch smaller all around, so for 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I ran it through my embossing Cuttlebug in an embossing folder, any embossing folder, it doesn't matter, just to give a little bit of texture behind your visual element there. And then I took my scrap of delightful paper, you could even really use that side, and I cut it into the scalloped rectangle. I used, again, you can use any shape, a circle, you can use a rectangle, you can use a fancy shape. This I used the Stitch So Sweetly die from Stampin' Up! And use the use the scalloped rectangle. And then for my sentiment, I also used this Stitch So Sweetly. I used the one that's shaped like this. So let's go ahead and assemble these pieces because these are just basically stick on. So today's video question is, what company of scrapbooking and paper crafting supplies do you miss the most that's gone under or rebranded or whatever? Again, mine's K & Company. I love their papers, their embellishments. I loved them, and I'm so sad. I have a huge stack of K & Company paper pads, and I love their Halloween stuff, and I just I have a real hard time using it. Okay, so there's the base of my card, and I'm also going to go ahead and stick this guy on. Now, this stamp, any sentiment, again, would do. It doesn't have to be a birthday card. This is just a cheap stamp from Hobby Lobby. A Momenta stamp. It says happy birthday gorgeous. I love that sentiment. And I used a scrap piece of paper. You might recognize that from the last video that I did with the cupcakes. Okay, and I am just gonna glue that right in the middle. All right, we are 90% done. Now, I took this stamp set. This is called Bella Blossoms. This is a super old Stampin' Up! Stamp set. And I used this flower and I stamped it in 3 different colors on a sheet of paper. And then I fussy cut them out so that I could attach them to my card. So what I did was the first 2 that I put on, this one I used my Fairly Art glue and I just glued it directly to the card. Okay, And then my second one, look, we don't even have to do it the same way as we did it last time. I took a dimensional adhesive. Sorry, I'm so used to calling them pop dots because that's what they used to be called. And again, I like to add glue to the back of my foam dimensionals, because you know how you get a really old, well, if you have stuff that's been in your stash for a while and they have these pop dots that have yellowed and kind of gotten brittle and they just don't stick anymore. And I'm just going to put that one right there. And then I'm going to take my other one and I'm also going to glue that directly to the card in the opposite corner. Maybe over there. Oop. There. And that's it. You're done. Now, in this one, I stamped the flower in the corner. So I probably will do that in this one too. You could put a strip of pattern paper. I think I'm going to use the plum color this time to stamp it inside. I'm just gonna gush this guy up until he's, just stamp him in the corner. And there you have it. Again, you could tailor this. It could say hello, it could say thank you, it could say I'm sorry. I would use, you could make it a sympathy card, but I would use a different color, maybe a more not so cheery color for that. Blues, browns, things like that. So that's your super quick 10-minute Tuesday card for today. Don't forget to let me know in the comments below what company you missed the most. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel. And hey, I'd love to see you on the Facebook or the MeWe group if you want to bash your stash. So I'll link to those down below. You guys can join those. And go forth and be crafty and have a great day, guys.